Now we meet again this 13th of August. Thank you so much for making time for the program tonight. This is Look Up Weekend. My name is Brian Amwai, and I do trust that you are having a wonderful weekend and you've had a wonderful week. Let's start the program tonight. These are the top stories.
Nobody should imagine that they can threaten and terrorize Kenyans again.
Tonight on Look Up Weekend, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has cautioned azimio politicians against instigating violence to gain an upper hand in the talks, saying the security apparatus will remain vigilant against such acts. Also tonight, we are not in a crisis, Mudavadi says as he calls for solving Kenyan issues internally.
Akanifuata pale nilikuwa nimeketi, akakuja akanigoga na shoka ya kichwa. Kutoka hapo nikasikia nimekosa nguvu.
Ile kitu sisi tunaomba ni serikali ifuatilie.
Si serikali imezungusa picha yake. Hiyo mtu tukimpata.
And long nights and full of terror. Kiharu residents live in fear as one man threatens their lives every night. Alright, now do engage us on our socials. That is at Amwai Brian on Twitter, at Lookuptv. The hashtag we are using tonight is Look Up Weekend. We are also live on Facebook and on YouTube, where you can send your feedback and we'll be able to sample some of it as we continue with the program tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Philista Adundo. Now, residents from 5 villages in Biriri Ward, Kiharu constituency, are calling on the government to move with speed and tighten security in order to save them from a one-man gang that has been terrorizing the region by attacking and stealing from them. And as Wairimu Wasike now reports, the suspected burglar known as Wagathanwa, the axeman, breaks into the victims' homes, threatening them with an axe, knives and a bottle of petrol, and robs them of money and mobile phones.
During the day, tranquility engulfs Kiharu constituency, but when darkness clouds in, fear and anxiety strikes the residents of Kiharu, denying them a shred of peace. The 5 villages, under attack by a suspected burglar known as Wagathanwa, the axeman, explained their horrific ordeal to the media. One of the victims being Anthony Wambugu, who explains how the suspected armed burglar robbed him off of his money and mobile phone by threatening him with an axe.
After ile disha alipiga tu chuma tatu, akaweza kuingilia kwa hiyo space, akaingia akachukua simu na akachukua pesa. Na pia mimi hapo ndio akiniambia nitoe pesa yenye nilikuwa nimeweka kwa gari, akaniambia tutoke nje, nikitoka ndio alinipiga na shoka na mimi nikaweza kupotea. Ile hasara gani? Mwizi alikuwa mtu mkubwa, ako na nguvu, ametengeneza mwili vizuri. Alikuwa na kisu, alikuwa na shoka, na alikuwa pia na chupa alikuwa ameweka petrol. Masi
Mudhoni wears fear on her face as she narrates of the traumatizing ordeal when the axeman broke into their home and poured petrol on her, threatening to burn her if she didn't give her the money she had hidden in her house.
Naomba serikali tu itusaidie kwa sababu wakati aliingia ilikuwa shida sana. Akaitisha pesa, simu tukampea. Immediately wakati aliona nimempea pesa, alitoka tu. Ilikuwa over 50k.
Victims Mwangi Kamau and Dennis Minor are calling on the government to tighten security and ensure that the suspected armed burglar faces the law and is apprehended by the authorities for peace to be maintained in the region.
Tuliingia wakati mmoja, akanifuata pale nilikuwa nimeketi, akakuja akanigoga na shoka ya kichwa. Kutoka hapo nikasikia nimekosa nguvu, nikasikia kizuguzugu pale nilikuwa nimeketi. Akakuwa amepewa pesa kwa sababu walipoona nimegogwa.
Wairimu Wasike, Lookuptv.
Now, President William RUTO now says the government on the over-reliance on borrowing has been brought about by lack of proper saving structures in the country. The head of state, while lamenting at the lack of saving from millions of Kenyans, has vowed to ensure the doubling of amount of money saved under NSSF from the current 350 billion to 700 billion by the end of his first term.
With opposition leaders calling out the government over its decision to rely on taxes to fund projects, President William Ruto has reiterated his stance on borrowing, insisting that his administration will continue to champion for savings, noting at his plans to double the amount of savings in the next 4 years.
We were not in good space in terms of building our savings. In fact, they told me, which is true, our savings as a percentage of GDP is below 10%. Savings in other jurisdictions is 25, 30, 40. In fact, in China, it is 55% of GDP. So they told me we have to change this because part of the challenge we have of borrowing is because we do not have savings. That the money we saved in NSSF, and Raymond would know, is about 350 billion shillings in the last 60 years. We are going to double that money, the 350 billion. We are going to double that money in 4 short years.
Speaking at Faith Evangelistic Ministries in Karen, Nairobi, the head of state continued to advocate for the affordable housing project, noting that the main aim of the project was to create employment for the youth.
Many people were wondering. I have many questions. Why are you pushing this housing agenda? What is these houses? Who told you we need a house? We all have houses. What is this? Good people, I have said it before, I will say it again in church. It wasn't so much about the houses. It was so much about the jobs for the young people of Kenya. We have never had a comprehensive program, deliberate, intentional, to create opportunities for the young people of Kenya to have a job, to have an income.
Elsewhere, while attending the 41st graduation ceremony at Baraton University in Nandi County, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has continued to defend the new university funding model, insisting that it is meant to ensure equality among all students.
Nimeona sasa wakijaribu kusema ati the changes we have made in the education sector is making education for the rich. It's a lie, blatant lie. What we are saying is we are changing the model so that people, once you are given assistance, is full. Hakuna haja kusomesha mtoto mpatie bursary form 1, umwachilie form 2, hana then arudi nyumbani umeenda hasara. We have just refocused and changed the strategy of funding university education because there are many challenges.
Ian Kitani, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Ian Kitani, for that report. Moving on, Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki has given a warning to the Azimio coalition of a possible return to the streets if the dialogue between the two political formations will not materialize. Kindiki further stated that the law enforcers are going to protect private and public property, noting that no politician will be allowed to instill fear to innocent people just because they want to achieve political objectives. Rugaival with the details.
The Cabinet Secretary for Interior Security, Professor Kithure Kindiki, has stressed that the opposition wing should be willing to accept the outcome of the negotiations that will be held as from tomorrow between them and the government. Professor Kindiki has said that the violent demonstrations have been prohibited in case the Azimio coalition will not be satisfied.
We must remove violence from the equation of the politics of our country. Na hiyo iende kila mahali. Wakati watu wanapanga siasa yao, wakuwe wabunge, wakuwe MCA, wakuwe governor, wakuwe senator, wakuwe rais, mtu apange kuuza sera na asiporidhika na matokeo afuate sheria na afuate taasisi utaratibu ambao uko katika katiba wa kulalamika.
Kindiki has complained how Kenyans are instilled with fear during protesting days where lives and property are lost.
The government has decided that it will not allow again the destruction of the property of the people of Kenya. It will not allow citizens, whatever their grievances, to stone policemen who are on duty, to burn police vehicles, and to attack government facilities.
The CS defended the leadership system of President William Ruto, comparing it with that of the late Mwai Kibaki, raising the concept of Kenya being independent for its own expenditure, as he championed the need to reduce loans from abroad.
Mimi niko na hakika ya kwamba katika utawala huu wa Mheshimiwa William Ruto na msaidizi wake Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, nchi yetu itapata kupata rasilimali za kutosha za kuendesha nchi yetu, na mambo ya kukopa madeni mengi ambayo yataumiza vizazi vijavyo, hiyo mambo itasimama.
Additionally, Professor Kiharu Terrorized is afraid of drugs addiction increase among young people from the Mount Kenya region, saying that this is going to affect the exponential growth of the incoming generations. However, he has now issued a directive of licenses crackdown of alcohol businesses in the Mount Kenya region.
Government will review all licenses in Kenya of second generation brewers. Zote. We are going to review all of them afresh.
Ruga Ival, Lookuptv.
Thank you, Ruga, for that report. Moving on, the Prime Cabinet Secretary has issued a call to the opposition, urging them to denounce violence, especially as discussions are poised to commence. Mudavadi emphasized that the concerns advocated by the Kenya Kwanza faction take precedence, given their comprehensive deliberation. Now, these remarks were delivered by Mudavadi during his attendance at a church event in Kajiado. His sentiments, or rather statements, come at a time when Azimio leader Raila Odinga engaged in a meeting with U.S. Senator Chris Coons. Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has continued to stress that the country is not in a crisis and it is prudent for Kenya to get solutions to her own problems without involving foreigners.
Tulisema Kenya is not in a crisis. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri tuelewane na tusaidiane kwamba these are issues that we can solve locally.
Mudavadi, who was speaking as he attended a church function in Kajiado, maintained that the Kenya Kwanza side has only 5 issues that need to be addressed, which include restructuring of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, CDF embedment in the Constitution, and the issue of the 2/3 gender rule. And
agenda item number 4, the President himself had already sent a petition to the Speaker of the National Assembly to say that he would like that there be a formal office of the official opposition, so that it is integrated properly into law. And the 5th item, now they want to discuss the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Those are the 5 items that were raised and that constitute the agenda before this conversation, the teams that are going to converse. Kwa hivyo, sisi tunasema tuko tayari, we will negotiate on these items in good faith, but we want to make it clear that the government that has got the mandate of the people of Kenya is the government of William Samoei Ruto, and he's the president, and he should be allowed to do what he has to do.
The cost of living being top of Azimio la Umoja agenda, Mudavadi says it is not a policy that the government will touch on, as it already has plans on the same in their manifesto.
Kwa hivyo watu wasituletee kwamba tuliwashinda lakini wanataka tuwatekelezee polisi zao. Pana, wangoje 2027 mchezo ikiwa hapo kwa uwanja, wakishinda waendelee. Lakini tukae kama Wakenya. That is the message we want to push across, and we assure you that we are okay.
Mudavadi also called for the opposition to denounce violence during the talks and allow the Kenya Kwanza government to serve Kenyans.
We must all denounce violence. Sisi wote tukatae katakata kwamba hatutaki fujo kwa siasa yetu, kwa taifa letu. That is what it should be. Na hata wakati ndugu zetu wanaongea kutoka kwa upande wa Azimio na kutoka kwa upande wa Kenya Kwanza, we expect them that as one of the very clear resolutions that must come out of those talks is absolute denunciation of violence by any party in order to resolve political issues.
This comes as ODM leader Raila Odinga on Sunday held talks with U.S. Senator for Delaware Chris Coons. Coons is credited for the handshake deal between former President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila in 2018. The meeting with Raila comes a day before the official commencement of the bipartisan talks on Monday. Azimio la Umoja and Kenya Kwanza have appointed 5 members each to the bipartisan talks team. Both teams have already appointed 4 members each to the technical committee that will draft a roadmap for the talks. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv. All right, we do want to take a short break here on the program, but let me take your feedback here. Joff Mwale on Facebook says, America should not interfere with Kenya political space, rule of law and sovereignty of our democratic space and constitution. Let Joe Biden share power with Trump first before suggesting anything close to truce between government and the opposition in Kenya. That is Joff on Twitter. Thank you so much for your feedback. Continue engaging us on this particular social platform, and I'll be able to sample some of your feedback as we continue with the program tonight. We do take that break. We'll be back in a moment.
As the night falls, we come to life to bring you a comprehensive broadcast from the numerous events happening across our 47 counties.
When it breaks, it matters, and each story is important.
If it's Thursday, join me, Nancy Lima, and my able panelists as we break down the law jargons and analyze the Constitution in a way only you can understand.
The news cycle never stops, neither does time. We cover each and every sector and present to you factual and accurate occurrences. This is where facts win the day. Join me,
Nancy Lima,
Ian Keitani, Tuesday, every Wednesday,
Thursday,
as from 9 p.m. on The Insight, only on Lookuptv.
Are you a junior secondary school, a college, a TVET institution or a university and you want to advertise your intake? Book now and advertise with us today on both Lookuptv and all our digital platforms. Call us today on 011 0430 158, 011 0430 158 or email us on sales@lookuptv.co.ke.
All right, now thank you so much for staying with us here on Look Up. We can let's continue with the program tonight. The clergy from Seventh-day Adventists are now calling on leaders from both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja coalitions to avoid chest thumping and issuing polarizing statements ahead of the planned bipartisan talks between the two sides. Now, the religious leaders indicated that the government should agree to the talks in good faith, while noting that engaging in talks with the opposition is not a sign of weakness on the government side, but rather a show of strength and leadership.
While negotiation between the government and opposition coalition Azimio la Umoja expected to officially kick off on Monday, with both sides yet to agree fully on the issues of concern.
We have held a very successful meeting this morning, and as indicated, we have agreed that we will begin the dialogue process once we frame the agenda items, and I think we should be ready with that by Monday.
As both sides settle for the talks, priests from Sabbath Church Nakuru West Parish have called on the two parties to resolve their issues amicably. Speaking to the media in Nakuru, Pastor Zachary Amenya noting the importance of both sides speaking in one voice.
My advice to the government, together with all the politicians, is that let this team that has been chosen to handle the issue, let that team be left to be independent, because in this country we need peace.
In addition, The clergy noted that leaders must show willingness to listen to the needs of Kenyans, and both the government and opposition wing should work together to provide a permanent solution to the problems affecting millions of Kenyans.
Let's allow the bipartisan team to do its work. Let us not have politicians agree on something and then while outside there, they continue to add more wood into the fire.
The clerics also called on politicians to find alternative ways to resolve political disputes that will not hold the country hostage or lead to violence and destruction of property.
Kiingisha siasa katika mambo hayo ni kukosanisha. Sasa kwa sababu wanakuja kama makabila, ukiangalia kama hapa kanisani tuko makabila yote. Wakileta mambo kama hayo, hatutaendelea, tunarudisha nchi yetu nyuma.
Nushin Mungasia, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
All right, now in a bizarre incident, a woman is reported to have killed her husband and chopped off his manhood in Bungoma County. Now, according to close family members and neighbors, the two have been having domestic issues in the past few months. The body of the deceased was found in his house, covered with an iron sheet.
Asante.
Tukaanza kumuuliza, na sasa kwa nini unabeba mahindi? Na yeye alisema mahindi ikae huko chini. Akasema yeye ajui, lakini alisema tu abebe mahindi. Ndio wakamshika. Akasema sasa apelekwe kwa polisi kama bado tunatafuta ango. Tukaenda na yeye mpaka huko, tukamweka kwa polisi, tulikuwa tumeacha huko watu wanamtafuta. Tukapigiwa simu, ango amepatikana, wamemfunika mabati kwa room yake. Tupoza huyo askari wakamchukua wakamweka ndani, tukakuja kuconfirm kweli ango ameaga. Wamekuwa na mgogoro. Last year alimwekea sumu kwa chakula. Tukafanya hiyo kesi, akasema hata irudia. Sasa ni mgogoro ambao umefutana kitu kama mwaka mbili hivi.
Now, away from that, senior Kilifi County government officials are calling upon area youth to form companies and self-help groups in order to benefit from county government tenders at the newly created Wezesha Fund. Speaking at Gede Primary School in Kilifi North constituency during the celebrations to mark this year's International Youth Day, the officials, led by Kilifi Deputy Governor Flora Chebule, said the county government was committed to empowering the youth financially, but asked them to be organized to qualify for the support.
Speaking at Gede Primary School in Kilifi North constituency, Kilifi Deputy Governor Flora Chebule said that only registered companies and youth groups will be able to access the Wezesha Fund loans and the 30% of government tenders set aside for women, the youth and persons with disabilities. Chebule added that the county government has partnered with local financial institutions to avail 1 billion shillings in cheap loans to registered groups and cooperative societies to boost their businesses, and called on the youth to take advantage of the initiative in order to attain financial independence.
Ndo tukawekeza ndani ya manifesto ya Gideon Maitha Mungaro, ndio leo hii tunajivunia ya kwamba tuna fund ambayo itatuwezesha sisi wote. Tumesema vijana, kina mama, watu wanaoishi na ulemavu, wote wako katika dimbo hilo ili uweze kunufaika katika pesa hizo, ambazo katika hii financial budget kuna 1 billion out for grabs. Jieleze ni biashara gani hiyo ambayo wewe wataka kuiendeleza.
Na pia sasa hivi kuna Wezesha Fund ambayo inapatia nafasi vijana na pia kina mama na pia watu wenye matatizo mbalimbali, kwa mfano wale watiifu, wajane, watu ambao wametoka kwenye jamii za chini, minority community, waweze kutumia nafasi hiyo through Wezesha loan kujiendeleza kibiashara na pia kimasomo.
The Director of Sustainable Business and Social Impact at Safaricom noted that the organization has engaged the youth in various activities and has initiated a project that focuses on partnering with the youth who are doing things within the green space.
We have started a new project at Safaricom Foundation that now focuses on partnering with the youth who are doing things within the green space. So we call it ecopreneurship and agripreneurship. So we are looking at the youth in this space. What are you what are you doing, and how can we help you so long as you want to grow the ecopreneur side.
Hadassah Crystal, Lookuptv.
Away from that, Pokot University students have threatened to lead a strike this week if the government will not be willing to listen to their grievances. This comes days after the government, through the Ministry of Education, announced changes in the university funding model. Beatrice Njoroge with this and more from the counties.
University Student Association has threatened to go on strike this week if the government is not willing to listen to their grievances concerning the new university funding model. Days after the government, through the Ministry of Education, announced changes in the university funding model.
Government are forcing us to eat something that is not entering our throats because of this funding model. We want to know the increment of this school fees.
Addressing the media in Kapenguria, students say that West Pokot County is among the vulnerable and marginalized counties, which will be greatly affected by the model, considering that big number of students will not be able to continue with learning, and this leads to early marriages and female genital mutilation in the region.
Percentage do the parents required to pay to their daughters and sons? Remember, different universities have posted different fee structures and amount in totality.
Elsewhere in Samburu County, the youths have been encouraged to utilize their potential in productive initiatives and not to indulge in drugs and other negative aspects in life. Speaking during the International Youth Day in Samburu County, Governor acknowledged the youth and noted the intention of the county government to ensure the youth from the area are empowered.
International Youth Day hapa Samburu, na tuko na furaha sana kwa sababu vijana wetu tumeona ile maneno wanafanya, they're doing really productive things. Wameanza clean up matowns zetu yote, volunteering, and they're doing a lot of things ambayo inatusaidia sisi kama society. And we can't ask for better youth than those ones when wanatusaidia kama society. Nataka congratulate, nataka kuhakikishia kuwa kaunti ya Samburu will work with you, our youth.
Other news, residents of Malindi have been urged to stop messing up with the environment and ensure to keep it clean in aim of reducing the effects of climate change. In an event led by Kilifi County Government First Lady Susanna Mungaro, led Malindi stakeholders in marking the 59th cleanup organized by the Progress Welfare Association of Malindi.
And express my gratitude to the Progressive Welfare Association of Malindi for their leadership in organizing this monthly cleanup exercise. To every participant, your dedication is the driving force behind our progress. Let us continue to work hand in hand, transforming Malindi into a shining example of community-driven positive change.
Beatrice Njoroge, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
All right, now let's get sporty tonight. Kericho Golf Club captain Ignatius Kipto led his team to emerge victorious of the 10th edition of the KCB East Africa Golf Tour held at Kericho Golf Club. Now the team returned a total score of 112, beating the team comprising of Richard Kurir, Onesimus Maritium, among others, who scored 110 combined points to finish in the second place. Now, Charles Siele won the overall player award by scoring 43 Stableford points, beating 104 golfers.
I didn't play very well, but my team did very well, and we emerged the winners of this tournament. So I must thank them. And I'm glad that we were winners, and we are heading out to the finals in Nairobi. We will do a lot of practice. I've qualified for 2 other qualifiers, that one is for Portugal and now this for KCB. and we're really preparing, and we hope we'll clinch the title in current. I've been in Kericho for Kericho club for some time, and this is the first time KCB is doing a very huge tournament in Kericho, and we are glad KCB is coming. We more cooperating and noticing Kericho club, and we are glad KCB has come in a big way.
Right now, John Osogo Secondary School from Budalangi and Chakol Queens are the champions in the male and female categories of the Chapa Dimba na Safaricom Soccer Tournament. Now, John Osogo Secondary School won by a solitary goal against Queens of Hope FC, while Chakol Queens trounced Kingandole Queens 4-1.
Hii game tumeanza kuprepare almost 2 weeks tukiwa na imani tutashinda, na venye tulikuwa na imani hiyo tu ndio imefanyika leo.
Tuna furaha kubwa sana kama team, mimi pamoja na viongozi wenzangu pamoja na wachezaji kwa ushindi wa leo. Na tunajua ushindi wa leo umekuja kwa sababu ya maandalizi yetu mema kwa vijana wasichana wetu, na tuna matumaini makubwa sana kwamba kule tuendako tutashinda.
Preparation yetu regional iko I think from Monday tutakuwa grao for sessions zetu 3 per day. We almost ready. Hata wakisema ni kesho hatuna shida na hiyo.
Preparation tumeanza kwa muda juu, nikikumbuka tumekuwa kwa mchezo za shule, tuliweza kuwakilisha Busia County kama champions kwa regionals.
All right, now the reigning champions of the FKF Premier League, Gor Mahia, are targeting to retain the league trophy. According to Kogalo's manager, Jonathan McKinstry, this season will be more competitive compared to the previous seasons when they won their 20th league.
Our target's to retain the league championship. That's always it. It was very difficult to win it last season. We had the strongest competition that there's been in the last 15 years. You know, second, third, fourth place, all got more points than any of those positions for 15 years. So we know it's going to be even harder this season. Tusker have strengthened, Police have strengthened, Bandari are spending money, KCB are spending money. So we know that we're going to need more than 70 points if we want to win the league again this year. So we've just got to focus and get down to work, and you know, we're on track.
33 minutes past the hour. We have sadly to say goodnight, and maybe sadly or also we are happy that we are just done with today's work. We have to say goodnight here on Look Up Weekend. Thank you so much for making time. But before we do that, let me just update you on some games that are happening today as far as sports is concerned. Well, today we had Chelsea versus Brentford 2-2, and rather Brentford versus Spurs, I'm sorry about that, 2-2, and also Chelsea versus Liverpool, that's 1-1, so it's a draw. Right, tomorrow what do we expect to see? Well, Manchester United will be playing Wolves, and yes, so be tuning in for that, and also the details of that particular sports and everything that has been happening during the weekend as far as sports is concerned. You can always get it in our sports show on Mondays at 10 to 11 p.m. on Sports 360 with Tony Kwalanda. On behalf of everyone that has made this one a success tonight, I do want to thank you so much for watching. Let me see if I have your feedback here. That one I'm not going to read. Thank you so much though for tuning in and making sure that you get to contribute to our bulletin tonight. All right, I think let me just check this and see whether there's something we can get here. Selin Nyangere says, tuned in from Kajiado. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Papilochu also tuned in. Thank you so much for watching the program tonight. We do not take that for granted, all right? Do have yourselves a lovely night, and let's do this again next time. My name is Brian Amuai. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Philista Adunda.